She's a really hard act to follow. So good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes, that's what I want to hear. It's morning for me. My name is Chitra Panjabi, and I am thrilled to address you as your Vice President membership-elect. I am eager and passionate about putting my skills and energy into making now the most effective and diverse feminist organization in the country. I'm truly honored to be elected to this leadership position for National Now, and I want to tell you a little bit about myself. 15 years ago, as a young woman living in Hong Kong, I really struggled to find a community of like-minded peers. I often felt like an outsider in my own conservative community that in my mind was still struggling to comprehend the changing roles of women in our society and our value as equal and full participants. My parents were immigrants from India and had been raised to respect each other, but were expected to follow very specific gendered roles. My mother was often told as a young girl that she was to be seen and not heard. She could not be opinionated or express her frustrations. She was told that an education beyond high school was not a possibility. My father was always expected to be the breadwinner and was told that he would not be respected as a man if he couldn't provide for his family. When people hear this, they often wonder how I found my feminism. I like to think that feminism found me. When I was about 3, I threw a terrible tantrum, as most 3-year-olds are wont to do, during a celebration of Raksha Bandhan, a Hindu religious holiday commemorating the protective bond a brother promises to his sister. My brother received a simple ceremonial thread, signifying his bond to me, and I received a toy Polaroid camera that actually clicked, flashed, and spit out neon-colored plastic Polaroids. Cool, right? Yeah. You can imagine my parents' bewilderment as I screamed and cried that I wanted a thread just like my brother. I refused to play with my camera, despite their pleas and cajole. Just refused. Even though my gift was clearly far superior. I was so angry that I didn't get the same treatment as my brother on this very special day. The way I saw it as a 3-year-old was that we were the same and that we should be treated the same. I felt that way about men and women at the same. When I left home to go to college, I was exposed for the first time to so many different progressive ideas and identities, which only further solidified my belief that feminism would be and continues to be the guiding compass in my life. When I arrived in the United States 5 years ago to start my graduate studies in women's studies, the practice of feminism was an integral part of who I was. But I was a stranger in a new land, and I needed to be part of a community that understood my beliefs, and a community to make me feel like I was home. I was fortunate enough to cross paths with a determined Now activist who was reviving the DC Now chapter and recruiting feminists with abandon. You might know her as Elizabeth Crumb. There she is. I became a Now member after only being in the country for 3 months. I was active and engaged immediately. One of the first actions I organized was the DC Now commemoration of Roe versus Wade. Once a signature event for our chapter, it had dwindled over the years. President Barack Obama had just been sworn in, and as feminist activists, you can imagine we were buoyed by this new progressive direction we thought the country was moving in. My sister chapter members and I wanted to celebrate both this historic election and our right to choose abortion. We called our event Robama. I've reached out to other pro-choice feminist and progressive networks in the DC metro area to join us in our vigil on the steps of the Supreme Court and for the event afterwards. We were overjoyed to see that this action was so well attended that we even ran out of food and drinks afterwards. Of course, the following year, we were better prepared. We have successfully revitalized this action, ensuring that many more activists attended, reaffirming our faith in the feminist fight for reproductive justice, while recruiting new members to our chapter and new activists to our cause. It was an uplifting and incredibly proud moment in my life. And there was no better banner under which to organize than that historic and incredibly significant banner of NOW. That feeling of pride and accomplishment encouraged me to take a leadership role in our chapter and lead other actions. It's that same feeling that continues to drive me today. As Vice President membership, I will work with you to ensure that you have the access to the resources, training, and support you need to lead successful actions and create an environment that encourages and expands our membership. We know that NOW's strength is in its grassroots, and we must expand our grassroots activist network. I firmly believe that in order to grow, NOW must have a visible, highly engaged presence in offline and online spaces. As NOW activists, we're used to the visible, concrete actions that have been hallmarks of our movement. Marches, protests, community organizing, sit-ins, and lobby days. But a shift is taking place that we cannot ignore. Increasingly, communities are organizing online. To be the premier feminist activist organization we strive to be, NOW must engage more deeply in this important space. Social media, blogs, online community forums, YouTube, petitions, all of these tools are used to create a space of activism online. We have to be better at using those tools to our advantage, both locally and nationally. Much in the way that we used our grassroots organizing prowess to bring over 1 million women and men to the National Mall for the March for Women's Lives, we can use that same skill to do even more online. Hashtags on Twitter can spread NOW's national action campaigns. Posts on Facebook can reach hundreds of thousands of women and men. Viral memes can create rapid response online and in the media with immediate and focused attention from diverse audiences. We know that we're going to grow now through diversifying our membership base. By hearing and engaging with a diversity of voices, opinions, and experiences, we make ourselves stronger as we work towards the same feminist goals. As an immigrant, a woman of color, a young, experienced feminist leader, and something of a techie, I bring a unique perspective and life experience that can play a critical role in helping us reach that strength. Of course, NOW's presence online cannot be our only means of attracting a diverse audience, but it can substantially enhance our traditional outreach. I would like to take a moment to recognize the critically important work that NOW board members Jaron Arifa, is Jaron in the room? Yeah. And Shirley Ann Rawls have done to expand our reach online. Shirley, thanks to Shirley and Jaron's work, we now have a Young Feminist and Allies virtual chapter, and as some of you may know, YFA Now had its first meeting 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I want to work with you to encourage the growth of your chapters, both in person and virtual. Over the next 4 years, I will ensure that you have the training you need to engage your members and recruit new ones. And I look forward to working with you in creating coalitions and partnering with local progressive organizations that share our common goals. Being a NOW member has made a tremendous impact on my life. Knowing that I have a community of fierce, dedicated activists to whom I can turn for advice and support has helped build my courage to speak out when I see problems that through feminist solutions can make women's and men's lives better. Recently, I made the case to my CEO that we needed to change our paid time off policy. Our combined sick and vacation leave policy meant that many of our junior and younger staff was working while sick to maintain their vacation time, putting their health and others' health at risk. I made the feminist case for separating vacation and paid sick leave, and it resulted in a positive policy change for all staff. It was only through the connections that I made and skills learned in NOW that I could make such important changes at my workplace. NOW and we as members are the change agents that society needs to achieve a feminist future. I'm committed to working with you to ensure the growth and longevity of our organization in order to achieve our goal of full equality for all women.